gentlemen,
boys and girls and children of all ages.
I don't know why you like to say that. This is
Easton.
And I am Zach. We are the Semi-Pros, and this is the Semi-Pros podcast. We're just a couple of idiots who have no idea what we're doing, but we really like movies, so we figured why not just talk about them to a camera and anybody else who wants to listen in case they want to listen, which there probably isn't anybody listening. So, in the Semi-Pros podcast, we just go through movie news, and then every week we're going to have a Hall of Fame segment where we induct movies into a certain topic of Hall of Fame, and then we'll go into the main topic that week, which is this week we're doing a summer 2016 movie breakdown. We're going to run through every single movie that was released this summer. We probably didn't even see half of them, and we're going to say whether we liked them or what we thought about them. But first, starting off, movie news. I only have a few topics this week because really there wasn't really any movie news that stuck out too much this week. The biggest one though, it was actually announced today, September the 8th. Joe Manganiello is going to play Deathstroke in the Batman solo movie, and he's going to be the main villain in that movie. What are your thoughts on that?
Not a huge fan of him. Love
Really?
the character though.
No,
Yeah.
you're not a Big Joe fan?
Not really.
See, my thing is I think he's a very fun presence on camera. Like, cause the thing I know him most from is True Blood, obviously, and I feel like a lot of the female audience knows him from Magic Mike.
Didn't watch it.
Have you seen him in anything?
Non-True Blooded. What else has he been in? I don't even know. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I gotta look that up now. See, now you've got us in our first little conundrum of our podcasting career.
We're not professionals.
And no, at all. But I do agree with you. Deathstroke going up against Batman is perfect for that movie because one, that's gonna be a crazy action and crazy action scenes going between the two best hand-to-hand combat fighters in the DC universe.
Yep.
So I think that can pull out some really great action. I feel like he's a very good character that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people might confuse him with this guy behind us, Deadshot, or maybe Deadpool.
He's kind of vigilante at times. He's not.
Yeah, but I think the thing that's good about it is he follows where the money goes. And other than that, he really doesn't care.
Yeah.
So I think that's good too, is because like what a lot of people are mentioning is there's going to be someone paying him to kill Batman. So it's going to be who's behind Deathstroke the entire movie. So that's why I think picking Deathstroke to be the main villain is very good. I do think Joe might not have been my first choice to play him, but I do feel like he could pull off his character. He's physically imposing. He's got good charisma, and I feel like they pulled him. He's cut from the same stone as Jason Momoa, who's going to play Aquaman. They're just physically imposing, scary dudes that you just don't want to fight. And I can't find anything significant that he's been in on his IMDb page.
That's what I'm saying.
He played Flash Thompson in the original Spider-Man trilogy.
Don't even remember him in that, so yeah.
He was in One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
Heard of it.
Alright, whatever. Forget about that news story. Next news story. Are you a fan of Super Troopers?
It's funny, yeah.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Super Troopers. That's the reason I wrote down this one. Super Troopers 2 started filming. Woo! I'm so excited for this movie.
Wasn't that like an Indiegogo campaign?
Yeah, it was an Indiegogo, or one of those Kickstarter Indiegogo campaigns that raised the money it needed in like 2 days. So many people pitched in. I think it needed like a couple mil, and like they got it really quick. I think the last time I
checked, they like doubled it.
Yeah, no, so I'm so excited, and the reason I love it is I really like the Broken Lizard crew, the crew who did like that and Beer Fest and stuff like that. I think them together as a group, they're just hilarious together. But I think Super Troopers is far and away their best movie, and I think it has the best set of characters from all their movies. That's why I'm so excited for Super Troopers.
Yeah, I've only watched that movie maybe 3 times.
I've watched it so many more times.
I watched it when like every teenage kid goes to that phase when they're like 14, 15, and they watch like the American Pie movies and like all of that stuff.
It did come out in that type of reign. But I can't wait to see Farva again. Farva is one of the funniest characters ever. But I don't really care if you don't think that's a big news deal. But
I mean, I'll watch it. Like, sure.
This last one is a news story that most people probably won't pay attention to because it's not an American film, but he's an actor who I like from foreign films. I think he's one of the best foreign people out there. Especially, have you ever seen the Raid movies? Iko Uwais, the main character from the Raid franchise, his new movie had a trailer come out. It's called Headshot. He is a guy who is woken up with no memories in the hospital after getting shot in the head, apparently, and like falls in love with this girl who's helping him recover. But the reason I'm excited for this movie is this is the greatest action guy out there on the market right now. Like, I'd put him above any American actor as far as action goes. I think the Raid movies are two of the best action movies ever made. I think the Raid 2 might be the best action movie ever made.
The choreography.
The fight choreography, yeah, it's
like,
so
you can't
brutal.
Do that. You just can't.
It's so brutal, and it's so fast paced. And I think the way that the director shoots the action scenes, the director that what's Gareth? I think it's Gareth Evans, or maybe he did. Yeah, Gareth Evans, who did the Raid movies. He is just an absolute fantastic director. But the thing that makes it good is Iko Uwais is also a good actor on top of him being a good martial artist that pulls off these movies. And I think that's what separates these movies from most foreign action movies is there's good acting, there's a good script, a good story. It's all well made like it's actually a Hollywood studio film. And I think that sets it apart. And if you watch this Headshot trailer, it is brutal. It is brutal action with a good story. It's basically
similar to the Raid?
It's the Indonesian Jason Bourne is what it is. And it looks insanely awesome. If not, maybe a little bit more R-rated, because it looked a little bit more bloody and gory and stuff like that, which I can always get on board with. But yeah, that was the last of the news. Now we are going to go into our Hall of Fame, the Semi-Pros Hall of Fame. Each week we're going to select a certain topic of film. This week's topic is sci-fi films. And each of us are going to have 7 films with 7 nominee slots that we can both put up. So we can either have we can both have the same lists, and we can have anywhere between 7 to 14 films up for nominees. And there's only 5 spots in the Hall of Fame. So we'll pick the top 5 from both our lists to put in the Hall of Fame. And just to preface this, so people don't get super upset with us, this isn't the best. This is our favorite.
People are not gonna like.
People are not. Yeah, people aren't gonna like that one. And also, if you don't see one on this list, it might be because we're saving it for another list. Because we don't want to reuse movies in the Hall of Fame. Because then Star Wars and Indiana Jones and 2001: A Space Odyssey would show up in every list.
Exactly.
So we can't do that. So we want some parity. So you'll see some movies on these nominee lists that you're like, why are you nominating that for your Hall of Fame? Well, that's why. So this week's list is sci-fi. What is your first nominee on your sci-fi list?
I'm gonna talk about these 2 films at the same time because they're pretty similar for the same reasons.
Okay.
Interstellar and Inception.
Inception, I can understand why. Okay. Interstellar, you're gonna have to convince me.
All right. First off, you can't beat the cinematography. Like, the effects are unworldly, literally.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan, if there's one thing he does well, is visuals. Yes.
Hans Zimmer scored both of them. 2 very recognizable scores, I think.
I think for Inception, yes. The one thing that I hate is that Inception had this big, loud, boisterous score. I liked it for that, but I feel like it's infected every movie since then. Which is, I feel like by the time it happened in Interstellar, I feel like I was like, this score is just another one of the same. So that's why I think the score in Interstellar didn't affect me as much as I think you're right. The one in Inception is great.
Okay. Neither of them give you answers to the story.
Yeah, I do like that. Christopher Nolan leaves them open-ended. The one thing I'll give Interstellar credit. It was very ambitious. It was a very ambitious movie. Like Christopher Nolan went for it, and like I'll give him credit for that. I don't think it's a bad movie. It just left me severely underwhelmed from what I thought. Like it, because this was right in the middle of Matthew McConaughey, right after he won his Oscar. Christopher Nolan, Anne Hathaway, like all the people involved in this. I think I was expecting more from the movie than what I got.
I think it's like Inception a lot more so, but like you have to watch both of these movies multiple times to even grasp what's happening, like what the story's about.
But I'll give you Inception. Inception was great. Leonardo DiCaprio was fantastic in that movie.
And the endings, like there's not a real ending to either. You kind of like have to draw your own conclusions or speculate.
Yeah.
Regarding Interstellar, most of the movie's backed by like real science, except for I guess like the black hole bookshelf scene.
A lot of it is also like a lot of it is backed on theories too that haven't been proven, because a lot of that movie is making conjectures about what could possibly happen, which is why I think you have to give it credit for being ambitious. But I think some of the emotions a little forced in it. I think people other than Matthew McConaughey don't give the best of performances, and also I think sometimes Matthew McConaughey makes it a little soap opera. Like he over forces some emotion sometimes.
I can see a couple scenes, but I do think his performance in that was good.
Yes.
And then the Murphy when she was a little girl, that actor.
Yeah, the little
like
the kid actor
10-year-old
was
girl or
fantastic.
whatever.
Yeah, I agree with that. The kid, the guy who was the son, who no one paid attention to in that movie because apparently the son didn't exist in that movie. Matthew McConaughey like didn't even care they had a son. The kid who played him was not good.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
And then like those are really the only two standout performances in Interstellar. Inception, almost every performance.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Early Tom Hardy too, and Tom Hardy's fantastic. I think that's the movie where I was like, this is a person to watch out for.
And that ending like snow scene.
Yeah, no, it is a well directed, well put together film. Since you went with two, I'll throw two at you too.
Okay.
My first one, listen, it's not only the greatest science fiction movie of all time, it's one of the best movies of all time, and that's 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think it's Stanley Kubrick's masterpiece. The fact this movie holds up with science fiction movies today in its visuals, and this thing was made in 1968. This is insane. Talk about movies that you need to watch over and over and over again to understand, and even when you do that with 2001, you'll get a new meaning every time you watch this movie. And it's so fantastic. And not only that, it has HAL 9000 is one of the best villains in movie history. Like, it is terrifying, and it's just, I don't know why I messed up that word. It's terrifying, and it's just a flat, monotoned AI voice. And that's all it is, and it's one of the most creepy, terrifying things ever. And the visual, I can't get over the visuals for this being in 1968, and the things that Stanley Kubrick did for this movie were just amazing and revolutionary, and how this film sort of changed a lot of the film industry and stuff like that.
The conspiracy theory people say fake the moon landings.
Gee, Merry Christmas. No, but I think that's Stanley Kubrick's masterpiece, and I think Stanley Kubrick deserves to have a movie in the Sci-Fi Hall of Fame. And of all of them, I'd pick 2001: A Space Odyssey. And my second movie on my list is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's one of Steven Spielberg's best of all time, Jurassic Park. I think it's dinosaurs. It's on your list too?
Yep.
Yeah. It's dinosaurs. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? Steven Spielberg brought dinosaurs to life.
I mean, that movie is nearly 25 years old, and the effects still hold up.
Yeah, the mix of practical effects and some CGI blends perfectly together. And not only that, it's equal parts terrifying and exhilarating. Like, there are parts of it that are like a horror movie, and then there are parts of it like action adventure.
Yeah, like mostly the beginning is kind of like lighthearted a little bit. It's very adventurous.
And then once the Velociraptors come in, that is just horrifying. And then the T-Rex scene, when the guy's in the porta pot and then Jeff Goldblum's and they're driving away, that is just amazing. And then my favorite part, John Williams' score. That Jurassic Park theme when they're pulling into the park for the first time.
One of the most recognizable.
It knocks your socks
songs
off.
of all time.
Every time I hear that song, I get goosebumps. Even now, they tried to like remix it a little bit in Jurassic World, I was like, why did you change that? Why didn't you just keep it the way it was? Yeah, I would say Jurassic Park is my second nominee into the Hall of Fame.
Next for me, it's the newest film on my list, Mad Max Fury Road.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a reboot that I think is actually better than the original trilogy. All of them. I think.
Yeah. You can make an argument for it, yeah. Beyond Thunderdome is pretty great. No, I'm kidding.
Debatable.
Yeah.
It's a Miller classic. It's going to be.
It is fantastic.
The action's completely over the top.
Talk about effects. The effects
and
in
it's,
that movie are
it's
fantastic.
like mostly practical.
Mhm.
Very little is actual CGI. So like how over the top it was, you're kind of like, how's that even possible?
Yeah. Mad Max Fury Road was one of the best movies of 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Hardy was fantastic. That was Charlize Theron's movie. She murdered it as Furiosa. The one thing is a very simplistic story.
Fair.
There are a few
Writing wasn't the best.
illogical things going on with some character choices and stuff, but overall, the beginning of the movie sucks you in, and you're in it on a thrill ride until the end.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you that one.
It's brutal and dark. But it's like vibrant at the same time.
Yeah. All right. What's another one of yours?
Another one. I'm going with Signs on this one. Probably on like 5 people in the world's list, maybe.
It's definitely not going to be on mine.
Better yet, it's on Stuckman's.
Well,
Have you
Stuckman
seen
is
it?
not the aficionado on all things film.
True.
He's pretty great, but
Okay.
no offense, Stuckman. I love you, but
I think it's Shyamalan's second best film, behind Unbreakable.
yeah, it doesn't have a lot of other good ones.
But
Nah, Sixth Sense. I put Sixth Sense ahead of it.
I wouldn't. Like every scene in this movie freaks me out, and it's super stressful. Like you can't watch this movie and then just be like, I need to go take a nap.
These super terrifying aliens get beat by water. So they came to a planet that is 75% water.
I mean, I understand. Like everyone says that.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, I'm not a Mel Gibson fan.
I mean, I don't think anyone is at this point.
And maybe that's why. Maybe it's because I didn't. I watched this a couple years ago. I didn't see it when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it when I was.
I did. I think I was 9.
I saw it after I had already decided I don't like Mel Gibson.
I remember watching this in
So maybe that's why. Maybe I
And
just
like, I think it's actually like if like an alien race was to come to Earth, I think this is kind of realistic.
I'll give you. I think it's Shyamalan's last good movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that too. Because I mean, most like alien invasion movies nowadays, it's like laser beams and like, because like what you were saying with the water, like if you see some of the scenes with the aliens in it, they're scared too.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost like a bear. Like like there's the scene that's filmed on like a little video camera.
Yeah, when they
Like
see the
when he
news
comes out,
footage of them.
yeah, like they're scared.
Yeah. I don't know. That movie didn't get me.
Okay.
Like it didn't.
And then like the ending, like you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, he always throws in those darn twists.
Twists.
Sometimes he makes himself the hero of the movie. Lady in the Water. Gosh, Shyamalan, get a life. No, alright, so the next one on my list is, the next two are actually both going to be animated.
Okay.
And I know animated movies will never make it on your list. I think that's
Probably
fine. I love
any list
animated
ever.
movies. My first one's Wall-E. The homages that Wall-E pays to classic cinema with the first half hour, 45 minutes being a silent film is fantastic. And how it's able to build this character that you fall in love with, these two characters that you fall in love with without dialogue. And the visuals are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do think towards the end, once the humans come in, it gets a little, not the best, but I think the messages it says about humanity and society are good. And I think Wall-E is one of the few movies that we look at nowadays and we're like, wow, that could possibly happen
Yeah.
to us. But it's Pixar. Pixar always makes good movies, and I think Wall-E is no exception. I think I love the way they're able to create those characters with no dialogue, and then it also throws an ode back to 2001: A Space Odyssey with the AI system on the big spaceship that the humans are all on. Is modeled after HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Maybe that's one of the reasons I love the movie so much. I do think it was picking on Americans a lot because all of the people you see, they're all fat and they're all white, and I think that was a message sent from Pixar to people saying, hey, we see how society's going and we see how you guys are screwing this up.
It's got more
Yeah,
pressure to that.
yeah, we're falling down the idiocracy line. So that's one of mine. The other one I think is one of the more underrated animated movies of all time, The Iron Giant. I love this movie so much. This might be my nostalgia glasses because every time I watch this movie, I tear up a little bit.
I haven't watched it in a long
towards the end. It's Vin Diesel's best performance. It's Vin Diesel's best performance. But no, this was the movie that announced Brad Bird too, and Brad Bird's gone on to make some Incredibles. I think Incredibles could have been on this list.
I don't like Incredibles.
You don't like Incredibles? You can just the door's over there.
It's
You can just
boring.
leave. Get out of here. But no, I think the animation for the time that the Iron Giant came out was fantastic. I think the story was great. The story, because you can watch it from two perspectives. You can watch it as an adult from that time and see that it was about the hysteria, about communism and everything happening in that time. Or you can watch it from a kid's standpoint and see it's about tolerance, it's about friendship, and it's about accepting people who are different from you. And it's about how sometimes not everyone else will do that. So I think it sends great messages for people of any age. And I think that's one of the reasons it's a story that captures people. And I think it's fantastic. The ending with the Superman, just a punch in the gut every time I watch that movie. I want a sequel to it, but I also don't want them to ever touch that movie again. Like, they re-released it in theaters, and I went and saw it, and I was like, this is just amazing. It was perfect.
Was it just a remaster?
It was a remaster, like they updated the visuals and everything like that. It was.
I watched it a couple of times on like Disney Channel.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just not big into animation. That's all. Like, I appreciate the art for it, but like, you know what I mean? Like, and I know like
so much work.
The difference between a good
yeah.
Like, and I understand that. It's just if I have like a 10 movie watch list and like one of them is animated, I'm probably gonna watch all the live action before I watch that last animated.
All right. What's your next two?
Well, not gonna talk about the last one because that doesn't deserve to be on there.
What is it?
So I'm gonna talk about Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
That's the one with Franco, right?
One with Franco.
Okay.
People think it's worse than what was the newest one that came out?
I liked it more than that one, the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. The fact that they have those titles reversed.
Like this one, you're emotionally invested.
Yeah,
Like some of the scenes with Franco, and Franco's usually a comedy guy. He's not very often a dramatic. And like in this movie,
I think he's an underrated dramatic actor.
Yeah.
I think it's because he's a little pompous, so he comes off as.
Yeah. But like this movie, like the relationship between Caesar and him.
Yeah, you definitely fall in love with the character of Caesar in that movie, and you care more about him than you do anyone else in that movie.
The writing and directing might not be a Hall of Fame worthy. I understand that. But like, you know, the effects are great.
That was the motion capture. Andy Serkis playing Caesar.
It cemented Andy Serkis as the premier mocap guy. Like I know he was Gollum.
I think that was the one.
And that kind of
Gollum announced it.
That introduced him.
Yeah.
To Hollywood.
All right, fair enough.
And then Caesar kind of like.
It's cemented his place.
Yeah.
Well, because Caesar, once the Caesar Walk came out, like people were talking about giving him an Oscar nomination for his motion capture performance. That's how good he did in that.
Yeah. He's definitely the gold standard nowadays.
I think there were a few down parts of that movie, like the forced romance between James Franco and the veterinarian.
Oh
Played
yeah,
by,
I didn't
Freddie
like that.
Pinto.
I'll be honest, yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah, so that was a little. If they would have just stayed focused on Caesar, I think it could have been a better movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I like the fact that like it successfully portrayed the humans as the bad guys,
yeah, it did.
which
do that.
doesn't happen very often.
No.
We're kind of like a wolf pack.
Although I feel
So-
like science fiction is the one genre where that does happen.
Yeah,
Is humans are always typically the bad guys, unless
Sometimes, yeah.
humans are alien.
unless it's like Independence Day or something.
Yeah.
And then of course like the final like scene with apes versus humans was spectacular.
Yeah, it was great. So what's your next one?
Uh,
Or do you want
Your
me to
turn.
go? You want me to go?
yeah.
You're gonna have to tell me when you kick off your list after.
I'll just say Prometheus.
I would have wrecked you. Had you
Oh,
said
trust me, I should have put 2001 on there. I'll
Yeah.
admit that.
Okay, well, we'll just say that you
Just didn't have to.
voted 2001.
Yeah.
My next one's Back to the Future.
Okay.
The best time travel movie ever made. Not only that, the comedy, it is hilarious. Michael J.
It's
Fox.
cheesy at times, but
But it's still funny. Like you still laugh at it. Michael J. Fox kills it. Christopher Lloyd's amazing in that movie. Everyone wanted to be Doc after seeing that.
Everyone wants
a lot of everyone says they want. Yeah. That's
Who
the thing.
wants a freaking
DeLorean,
DeLorean?
one of the crappiest cars of
What's
that
the max
time.
speed, like 80 miles an
Yeah,
hour?
yeah. 88.
88? Is that 88?
Yeah, it's 88. But no, I think what it did for time travel movies and time travel movies after that have all tried to copy Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it set a standard for science fiction comedy, and I think it set a high bar at that standard. So if science fiction comedies don't reach that bar nowadays, we look at them as they're terrible because of Back to the Future.
Even the second and third one can.
I think the second one, I do think the first one's the best. I think the second one was good.
I don't think there's any doubt that the first was better. I didn't care
Yeah.
much for the second one, and then the third one.
The third one is bad.
Third one didn't happen.
Third one, yeah. Yeah, third one's bad. Yeah, so I would put Back to the Future on that list too. Do you have any more?
No, I don't.
You're supposed to have
Because
seven.
I'm not talking about Prometheus.
You're supposed to have 7.
I do have 7 technically.
What are your other ones?
That's it. Just Prometheus. Prometheus is number 7.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah,
Inception
we
and
talked about
Interstellar?
Jurassic Park together.
Mad Max. Signs.
Oh well, then I guess I can just keep rambling on about movies I picked.
Go for it.
My next one I picked.
I'm done.
I picked Serenity. Some
Okay.
people might not recognize that. I'm a huge
I
fan.
had that on my rough draft.
I'm a huge fan of Firefly.
Mm-hmm.
The mixture of science fiction and western, science fiction and cowboys, is amazing. I think that is the best combination of genres that has happened in so long that nobody watched.
Mm-hmm.
I think Firefly was an underrated show. Everyone always knows that, the fact that it was taken off way too early. But Serenity was the movie that show deserved. It was dark, but it was fun. Nathan Fillion, that movie proved that he could carry a movie. He didn't do much after that in terms of carrying movies, but that proved that he could. That was like one of Joss Whedon's early feature films, and it showed how great he could direct action.
I think I heard somewhere that's like one of the main reasons he got
Avengers.
Avengers roles.
I could believe that, because if you watch the action in this movie, and the other thing is Joss Whedon does really well is he creates strong female characters,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that is something that's very underrated in Hollywood is
Yep.
having a strong female character. In Chiwetel Ejiofor, that's the first time I've ever seen him in a movie.
Yeah, I
His
looked up
villain
his,
in that is terrifying.
when it was on my rough draft. I looked up like his filmography, and it was like his third film or something.
And he was so good in that movie.
Mhm.
He was so good. That's the movie that proved to me that he could be a good actor, not 12 Years a Slave, like where most people know him
Of
from.
course, yeah.
So yeah, that's why Serenity would make it on my list. And the last one is another one that probably not a lot of people have seen. I saw it because one of my favorite actors is in it, and that's Snowpiercer. And it obviously has Chris Evans, Captain America, in it. And I think Chris Evans is an underrated actor that nobody knows about because all of his small movies nobody sees.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a small movie called Puncture.
He's just
He was in that
He's
are
Captain
amazing.
America.
He's Captain America to everyone, but if you watch his smaller films, they're good, and he's really good in them. And I think Snowpiercer was amazing. It's one of the best science fiction movies to tackle class and class structure because it's all. Have you seen it?
I have.
I think the way they do that is great. The action is amazing. It announced the director to me, Bong Joon-ho. I'd never seen any of his other films before this, but after watching this, I want to go see every other single one of the movies that he makes and every movie he makes afterwards. It's just fantastic, and the performance he's able to capture out of these actors is great. Tilda Swinton is also in it. Tilda Swinton is just, I don't know where that alien came from. She is amazing. Any role she is in, she just dives into, and you don't really recognize that it's her because she becomes that character. And I think it has, one thing I think it's done is, like very few science fiction movies do nowadays, is it's very original. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not very unique stories, and I think it was a unique story that came out of the bunch.
It's not a problem for me. Like, I enjoyed the movie. Would be on my Hall of Fame, but like a lot of people actually disliked the movie. I thought
Really?
Yeah. Like, have you seen reviews of it?
Mm-mm.
Like, it's a very like love-hate
Let me check
type
that
of
out.
movie for some people.
Yeah,
I know the critics loved it.
See, I think
There-
that's probably
there
what
are
the thing is.
people that love it, and then there's people that straight up
Yeah, there's a
hate
big
it.
difference. Yeah, the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes is 95%, but the audience score is only 72.
Which is still a decent score, but
Yeah. But no, I did, when I watched it, I did fall in love with it. I don't get me wrong, I do see why some people couldn't. I think it does hold up a mirror to society. I feel like sometimes movies that do that are very divisive because some people don't like seeing how they really look. But yeah, so no, that's the last of my nominees. So I have 2001: A Space Odyssey, Jurassic Park, Wall-E, The Iron Giant, Snowpiercer, Serenity, and Back to the Future.
Then I got Inception, Interstellar, not Prometheus, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Mad Max Fury Road, Signs, and Jurassic Park. So Jurassic Park's a given, right? It's number one.
Jurassic
It's
Park.
automatically number one, right?
I wouldn't put it number one. I put 2001.
Okay.
over it. 2001 is a better film.
2001 should have been on my list anyways.
Okay, so 2001 and Jurassic Park are both ends.
Great.
If you had to argue for one on your list to make it, and no other film could make it, which one would it be?
Probably the most unexpected one, Signs.
Signs?
Signs. You don't like that choice.
I can't. Can you honestly put Signs in the best science fiction Hall of Fame over Back to the Future?
It gets me every time.
You pick Signs over Back to the Future.
I would.
Which you, sir.
Like, cause I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, most sci-fi films are very like, yeah, like it's fun, adventurous. That's the difference in Signs. It's just like really like depressing, depleting. Just.
I was gonna give you Inception. I don't want to give you Signs.
I mean, I love Inception too.
All right, so how about this? All right, we put Inception in, we
Okay.
put Back to the Future in,
Okay.
and we put Serenity in. Do you like how I subtly slid another one of mine in there?
Mad Max and Serenity. Toss up.
Because Mad Max and
I don't have a
Serenity, Mad Max and Serenity were the two on each other's list that we both would have put on our list.
Alright, I'll give you Serenity.
Nah, you know what, we'll keep Serenity. I'll give you Mad Max. I forgot you had Mad Max on your list, to be honest with you. Alright.
So
I'll give you Mad Max. So we have 2001.
Are we gonna
Jurassic-
rank them?
Nah, they're all in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
It's not like once you get in the Hall of Fame, you're ranked above someone else. So it's 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick, Jurassic Park, Inception, Back to the Future, and Mad Max Fury Road. And if you guys don't like our Hall of Fame list,
After you.
no, we want you to come back and we want you to come back and listen. But I mean, if you're there, you're probably not at this point. But if you are there, you're allowed to comment. So
If
you
you're
don't
still
like it,
there, you're a trooper.
trust me,
And you're probably just.
we have no one else watching, so we'll be able to respond to you if you do say something. So now we're gonna move into our summer movie breakdown. I didn't realize how long that would take. So
Right? How long we in right now?
I have no idea. I can't.
Screw it.
Who
This is
cares?
gonna take forever.
Yeah. All right.
Are
So
we just
starting
giving
from the
are we
beginning
giving like
of the-
yay or nay answers? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. I mean, if you have something to say about the movie, say something. If you don't say anything. You know.
Yeah.
Just like, all right. So the first movie, Civil War. First movie of the summer. I have mixed feelings on this. I think it is an incredibly good movie. The Russo brothers are fantastic directors. The villain in it is very weak for me. I think, like, it's
That's wrong with
a
all
lot
Marvel
of
movies.
yeah, all the Marvel
Honestly.
movies. Because a lot of the things that happens in the villain's so-called plan are very circumstantial.
Mhm.
Like, if one small thing happens differently, his plan falls apart.
Yep.
So, and I guess he's got good motivations, but I mean, any sane person who can look at that can see that it's not their fault that his family died.
Mhm.
So I do have issues with the villain. And I think I was also underwhelmed with it because Daniel Bruhl is a great actor. And when they announced him as Baron Zemo, I was like, that's fantastic. And then seeing him in the movie, I was like, one, he didn't wear the mask, which is that doesn't judge me. That doesn't impede my judgment. I would have liked it. It would have been a cool Easter egg. And he was a little weak for me. I think the best part, that airport action scene was worth the price of admission.
Oh yeah.
I think regardless of everything else in that movie had been terrible, I think that airport action scene makes that movie good. Spider-Man's fantastic. I'm excited for a Spider-Man movie for the first time ever.
Paul Rudd had the best part.
Paul Rudd was amazing. Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther.
Mhm.
I can't wait for Black Panther movie.
That don't try.
Iron Man was a little weak for me in the movie. He
I
didn't
haven't liked a single Thor movie personally.
really.
Yeah. I don't
No,
like
but
it either.
I just Iron Man in this movie goes against what he is in every other
Originally
movie.
believing, yeah.
So but Captain America was great. Falcon, the interactions between Falcon and Winter Soldier were wonderful. But yeah, no. So I think it deserves to be rated as a really good movie. I just
Right.
think it's not the upper echelon of Marvel movies.
I don't think so either.
All right, the next weekend, we got a lot of stinkers on this list. The Darkness, which is a horror movie that came out with Kevin Bacon. I saw it and it was terrible.
Didn't see it.
Absolutely
Don't
terrible.
want
Definitely
to.
earned that 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. The next one was Money Monster. George Clooney and Julia Roberts.
I don't like George Clooney.
I thought it was serviceable.
I can't.
I was
stand George
entertained.
Clooney, actually.
I liked George Clooney. I thought it was a fine movie. I wasn't overwhelmed. I wasn't blown away by it, but it was watchable. Jack O'Connell is good. He was the guy in Unbroken. He's a good actor. I'm excited to see him in more things. It could have been better.
When I think of an overrated actress, I think of Meryl Streep. When I think of an overrated actor,
I don't think Meryl Streep's overrated at all. I think you deserve to take that back right now.
I'm not going to.
I think Money Monster is the epitome of this summer, where it's just meh, yeah.
It was definitely a downer year.
This summer was just,
Especially when last year was literally the best.
the last one on this weekend I want to talk about. I haven't seen it, but I've heard really great things, and I want to see it. The Lobster.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell's an
90%.
underrated good actor. Yeah. But have you heard about this movie? Have you seen the trailer? Like what happens? So they go.
I've heard about it.
Basically, it's like these like good single people go to this place, this facility where they're supposed to fall in love with a new person, and if you don't fall in love, they turn you into an animal, and the animal he picks to not, if he doesn't fall in love, is a lobster. And it's funny because apparently the entire movie, his brother went through the camp before him and didn't fall in love and turned into his dog. So his dog he has falling around with him is his brother.
The way you just explained it made it seem like a horrible movie.
I know. This movie has no, but apparently it's great. I've literally not heard one bad thing about this movie.
90%. Yeah. I'll have to watch it.
Alright, the next weekend, Neighbors 2. Did you see Neighbors 2?
Oh, you're not going to talk about the Angry Birds movie?
No. Angry
Neighbors,
Birds movie, no.
Did I watch it? Did I watch Neighbors 2? No, that's how video it is.
Neighbors 2
I didn't watch it.
was as good as the first one.
Was it?
I think so. I don't think it was as bad. The one thing I think I liked as a comedy sequel, it it went down the same similar type of route, but took a different turn. Like it was similar type of movie, but done in a different way, and I really liked that. Like, because a lot of comedy sequels just do the same thing, and I like that it tried to change things up in this one. I feel like that's part of Seth Rogen writing it.
I watched like 2 movies from like January to like March.
This is another good one. One of the best ones of the early summer is The Nice Guys.
I love The Nice Guys.
What a good movie!
Right?
All right. Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling need to be in more things
Oh my
together
God.
because they were so
That's
good
the best
together.
like detective duo. Like
So great, so great. And that little girl who played Ryan Gosling's daughter was amazing.
Isn't she in Spider-Man Homecoming now?
Is she? I have no
Yeah.
idea.
I think she got casted.
Keep up on child actors' lives. That's a little weird that
you
you did. But no, The Nice Guys was fantastic, and the way it pulled off like the '70s
Mhm.
and the style of everything, the look of everything was great. Shane Black is an amazing director. I'm excited that he's going to do the new Predator movie because he's just on fire. Oh my goodness, the next one. Alice Through the Looking Glass, didn't see it,
Didn't
was
see
never
it.
gonna see it. The
I haven't
fact
seen
that
the
got
first one.
made for as much money as it got made for just hurts me inside because this was a pile of flaming flamingo poop. Oh,
I didn't even watch the first one.
oh my goodness, Johnny Depp, what are you doing? Like, what is he doing? Like, he has talent. He has ability. What is he doing? I don't get it.
He needs a new. I don't know what he needs.
I don't get it.
Maybe he needs a good reboot.
Like, it's like Black Bass came out last year and he was good. It
Yeah.
reminded you that he's a good actor. The next one is also one that I just. X-Men Apocalypse.
I don't despise it as much as you do.
I hate that movie. I hate that movie so much.
But
I hate it.
I definitely don't like it.
I hate Bryan Singer for making that piece of trash. And it took one of my favorite up-and-coming actors in, what's his name? I forgot him. Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac is amazing. And all it did was turn him into a classic superhero villain. And so terrible. The only person in this movie you can say did a good performance, other than James McAvoy, who always does serviceable in the X-Men movies, was Michael Fassbender. Michael Fassbender killed it in this movie. But anytime it was on anyone other than Michael Fassbender, I was like,
He kills it.
I was like, just shoot me. I want this movie to be over with already. And the ending made no sense. This guy has literally every power under the sun. And the ending made no sense.
It seemed like a fucking like a military recruitment video.
Like, just
like a homeless is like going around like, join me.
I was just done with that movie. I'm done with the X-Men universe. Other than Deadpool and Wolverine, this last Wolverine I'll watch for Hugh Jackman. Other than Deadpool, I'm done with the X-Men. I'm done with it. Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping. I heard it was really
Is that
funny.
what it's called?
Yeah, that's what it's called. I wanted to see it really bad.
Yeah, I did.
Andy Samberg is hit and miss for me. Sometimes I like him, sometimes I hate him. Like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think is a hilarious show.
I've seen bits and pieces. It's pretty. Everything I've seen is pretty hysterical.
I've heard really good things about it. Just nobody went and saw it. Like nobody went and saw it.
Like it seems like my type of comedy. I don't know why I haven't seen it yet.
The next one, listen, I have no business thinking it's an okay movie because it's not. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. I had a fun time. I had an unabashedly fun time in this movie. This is everything a summer blockbuster is to me. It was action. It was funny. Sometimes it had great Easter eggs to the old, like Krang. Come on, Krang was hilarious. Did you see this movie?
It's pissing me off.
You're looking at it like you didn't even see this movie. Listen, I get it. It's not a well put together film. It's not at all. It's not a great story at all. It's fun. It is a fun movie. It's what I wanted Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie to be. No, I don't care. This is a fun movie. You're not taking my fun away from me. It's a fun movie.
I'd rather watch the third, like, old TMNT. When they go to, like, what was it, Japan or whatever? Where'd they go? I don't even remember.
Feudal Japan.
Yeah. I'll watch that.
Back,
I'll watch that first.
Blocking.
What am I blocking?
You blocking Will Smith.
Who cares?
He's part of the semi-pros.
How
I'm going
much
to say
is it?
schmoes. He's part of the semi-pros. All right, next one.
There's name drops everywhere.
Next one, best horror movie I saw all year, and a good horror year. Conjuring 2.
James Wan's unbelievable.
Listen, you know me and my love for Aquaman. I'm so excited for Aquaman. The fact that James Wan is doing it makes me immensely more excited.
I'm not a huge horror fan, but my past two favorite horror movies, and I think like the last 5 horror movies I've seen in theaters were like 2 of them were the 2 Conjuring movies.
Yeah.
And I love both of them.
James Wan I feel like this wasn't as good as the first one. Whereas I think it's because the first one I think was a good film. And I think The Conjuring 2 is a good horror film.
And the first one was unexpected.
Yeah. The first one came out of nowhere. I think the performance, Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson together as a couple, every time I see them, I just assume they're married to each other now because they play the couple so well. Ed and Lorraine Warren, they literally have become them, and it's so fantastic. And this movie, horror movies, I love horror movies, the horror genre. Horror movies nowadays just don't scare me. Like a lot of classic horror movies
They do me, and that's why I don't watch
This movie scared me. I was like, there are a few parts that actually got me. Yeah. So James Wan, amazing. The next one, Now You See Me Too.
Didn't see it.
Didn't see it. I did. Listen, I think I had a fun time because I saw it with a couple buddies and we had just messed around in the theater. It's not a good movie. It's really bad. It's really bad. Did you see Warcraft?
No.
I did. It's not as bad as everyone says it is.
I've heard that.
I don't understand what's going
quite
on.
a few people.
I don't understand what's going on because I have no idea what the Warcraft is.
Yeah.
Anything?
There's just like, I don't know, they're hobbits.
But I mean, the effects were a little animated and CGI, but it was good. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
It was meh.
I didn't want to.
Did you see Central Intelligence?
Did I see Central Intelligence? Yeah, I did.
What'd you think?
I hate Kevin Hart now. He's the same in everything. He is. This might as well have been Ride Along 3.
Oh, goodness.
But they just replaced...
But it had The Rock in it. I didn't see it.
Yeah, and he's one of the worst roles I think I've ever seen him.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it regardless.
I don't know how it has 69% Rotten.
Did you see Finding Dory?
There were some gags in there that were funny.
We're just because I didn't see it. Did you see Finding Dory?
No.
Oh my goodness, Finding Dory had no business being as good as it was. It was really fantastic.
I have seen the first one.
Really fantastic. You haven't seen Finding Nemo all the way through?
Not all the way through.
Finding Nemo is one of the best animated movies there is. Get out of here. Finding Nemo is great. Finding Nemo is great, but Finding Dory was also great. I don't think it's as good as Finding Nemo because I think it relies a lot more on cuteness than Finding Nemo was more just a really solid, well put together story and character arc and everything. Finding Dory has smaller character arcs that aren't as impactful, so it's not as emotionally impactful as Finding Nemo, but I think it's really, really good.
I don't know, I don't go out of my way to watch animated movies. And then the first movie, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but I can't listen to Ellen DeGeneres. I just can't. I can't do it.
Did you see Free State of Jones?
Yeah. Meh. It was boring.
I didn't see it.
I
didn't hear good things, so I'm not gonna say
pretty much all the action scenes were in the trailers. The rest of it was just him talking and having speeches and things, and it was...
I'm getting bored talking about all these terrible movies. Independence Day Resurgence.
Did you watch that?
Just shoot me now. I don't even want to say anything about that movie because I don't want to give that movie the time of day. Did you see The Shallows?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you think? I didn't see it.
It was short. I mean, for a reason, I guess. She was kind of stuck on the rock the entire time. But,
So... it was meh. What he's getting at. It was meh.
It was alright.
Did you see the BFG?
I mean, it's pretty much as good as you could expect. I didn't watch the BFG.
I think the BFG was underrated. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's a Spielberg classic. I think it was underrated. I don't think enough people saw it. I think Mark Rylance playing the BFG, the Big Friendly Giant, was great. The effects were... It was a kids' movie effects. Had the bright colors and everything like that, but they were well done. I think it was an okay movie.
I like the Legends of Tarzan.
I
If you're
liked
gonna
Legend
skip
of
that.
Tarzan too. No, I
Oh,
wasn't gonna
that's
skip
good.
that because I did like it.
I liked it.
Margot Robbie is fantastic. She's a great actress.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Alexander Skarsgård's a guy who I could see leading some more movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is a leading man material in summer movies. I can see that. Did you see Purge Election Year?
No. I saw the first one. I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Did you see Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates?
Um,
I'll tell you what. I laughed more than I expected
I
to
did.
laugh in
Yeah, I
that
did
movie.
watch that.
It was funnier than I thought it was gonna be. And I think Anna Kendrick and Aubrey Plaza were hilarious.
I don't really
Zac
like Anna
Efron.
Kendrick.
I think she's a good actress.
I mean, she was alright in this. I actually really like Plaza in this movie.
Yeah, Plaza's hilarious. Zac Efron was a lot better than I thought he would
Yeah,
be.
yeah, yeah.
Did you see Secret Life of Pets?
No.
Listen, I heard some people say they loved it and some people say they really didn't like it. So I went in with lowered expectations and I had a good time. I think, like I was saying about Finding Dory, it relies on cuteness. This movie is all cute. That's all it is. I think it's one of those things where I think it was marketed differently than what the movie was. Because it winds up being this big story going on that's clearly not your Secret Life of Pets. But it was fun. Did you see The Infiltrator?
Yup. That's it.
Yep.
Because, yeah.
No, we're good.
After Breaking Bad, I don't know what happened.
We're just moving on.
That's all I have.
Did you see the new Ghostbusters?
I did. Not as bad
I did
as not as bad as a lot of people said, but I don't think they should have remade it still.
Okay, here is the movie I think might have been the most underrated movie of the summer. Star Trek Beyond.
I love
Star Trek Beyond. I thought it was fantastic.
I thought it was better than the last one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it was the best of the newest trilogy.
Yeah,
I think it was
I like the first one.
I like the first one too, but this one just I felt these characters. I felt with them this entire time.
What really took me out was the beginning of the end scene with the Beastie Boys. I thought it was super cheesy.
I thought it was great the way they used that song.
I
thought they worked it into the story.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was about to say. Like I know
if there's anything that took me out of it, it was the dirt bike. Why is there a dirt bike just sitting?
I'll be honest. I didn't
it was
think
sitting
about that,
in the kitchen area of the ship. Of this spaceship. What is a dirt bike doing on a spaceship? You're in just. But no, Star Trek Beyond was amazing. I thought it was great. I think Chris Pine is great. I think Anton Yelchin passing is one of the most devastating passings of the year
Quinto's like deadpan humor.
Oh yeah, the Bones and Spock together was fantastic. But yeah, Anton Yelchin will definitely be missed. Did you see Green Room earlier this year? He was great in that. Lights Out. Lights Out was another good horror movie this year. Did you see Bad Moms?
No.
Listen, if you're over 30, I hear it's good. If you're under 30, stay away.
I've heard that, like, my mother said that, like, just as a dude, just probably stay away.
Yeah. Did you see Jason Bourne?
I did. It was pretty boring. Other than Alicia Vikander.
See, I'm
like, Matt Damon's performance wasn't awful. Vikander, she was great as well.
I'm not.
But the story was super lacking for a Greengrass film.
I'm not a Bourne fan.
I like.
See, I think Greengrass is the weakest of all the Bourne directors because I think the first movie that he didn't do, the first Bourne movie, is the best Bourne movie. So I feel like people build him up because of how good the trilogy was originally, but I feel like the first one was the best one. Suicide Squad. I thought Suicide Squad was a really good time. Like, it's not a 10 out of 10 movie. It's probably like a 7
I think I gave it a 7.8 out of 10.
See, I would personally give it a 7.
I guess it would be a 78. The first time I watched it a second, third time, and my score got lower every time.
Yeah, I feel like it's more rewatchable than Batman v Superman because it's more of a fun time. Yeah. There are so many problems with it that as a film fan, I'm just like, there's too many to overlook.
Yep.
But the characters were fantastic, I thought. Will Smith as Deadshot was amazing. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was as perfect as you thought she would be when they announced it.
He was my main concern.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like, God, I hope I don't see Will Smith.
I think the problem.
Because that's been a problem in
Yeah.
Will Smith movies lately.
I didn't see Will. You always see Will Smith, but I think
But-
he was the perfect Will Smith that he needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can see in this movie when the studio takes the movie from David Ayer.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's edited poorly, and I don't think that was David Ayer's fault because that's what happens when a trailer company edits a feature film.
Yep.
It's just going to be choppy like that. I was disappointed in it. I wanted it to be better, but I don't think it's as bad as everyone said it
Yep.
was. Did you see Sausage Party?
I did.
What'd you think of Sausage Party?
I thought the trailer was funnier. I would just rather watch the trailer over again like 10 times instead of watch the movie.
Alright, we'll just move on then. Ben-Hur.
I actually really enjoyed Ben-Hur.
Listen, Ben-Hur is meh. It's okay. It's not
really enjoyed
bad.
it.
I don't think it's great.
Mhm.
I honestly, personally, I don't even think I could say it's good. I really like Toby Kebbell. I really like Jack Houston.
To most people,
There's
I have
absolutely no way any sane person should ever have put $100 million into that movie.
yeah, I agree with that. I didn't even know it was made for $100 million.
It was made for $100 million.
But I mean, I've probably watched it a regrettable amount of times already in theaters.
Did you see Kubo and the Two Strings?
Yep.
Kubo and the Two Strings is fighting for best movie of the summer for me. I absolutely loved it. The stop motion animation was amazing. Charlize Theron and Matthew McConaughey killed it as the characters. Ralph Fiennes, the way they were able to balance like the making it a kids movie, but also like there are some parts that it gets really scary.
Yeah, like the
Like
witches.
when the villains, and the
Yeah.
witches come in, like they're terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's for young kids, but the way it handles like the culture and the impact of that is fantastic. Like the samurai culture and everything.
Yep.
I think it's done wonderfully, and I think more people need to go see this movie because it's not making a lot domestically. But I think once it's released, because it has been released worldwide, I think once it's released in the Asian markets, I think this movie will murder because I think so many people are gonna go see it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Don't Breathe?
No.
Don't Breathe, once again, one of those horror movies this year that came out that was amazing. This one, from the beginning to end, had you on the edge of your seat of just intensity. It's not a jump scare type movie, although there are jump scares in it. It is more of just like an intense through ride horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in from the get-go. I mean, there's a few illogical things that go with horror movie tropes, like the guy is the main bad guy, like he's like Jason Voorhees, where like bring him down. It's just like insane.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's like he's almost not human.
there's a twist at the end, like at the very end, and you're like, come on now, did that seriously just happen? But it is a really good movie, and it's done very well. It's directed very well too.
Mm-hmm.
The way he uses space and sound throughout the movie is fantastically done. What else we got left? I believe that's the last one, unless you want to talk about Mechanic Resurrection.
I also watched Hands of Stone. I watched both those in the same night. That was a bad night.
See, I would rather stuff myself with Taco Bell than go see those movies. And I would never stuff
I'll be
myself
honest,
with Taco
I
Bell.
just wanted popcorn.
I'm not going to go see those movies
They
because
were-
I have way
they
too
were-
much respect for Robert De Niro and Jason Statham.
They were bad.
Yeah.
They were real bad.
Oh, goodness
Is
gracious.
that it?
Those are the summer
We
movies.
actually got past that faster than I thought.
Oh my goodness, that's because I got sick and tired of talking about terrible movies that I just moved us through quicker.
There were literally like 3 in there.
This summer was so bad. It was so well. I think I don't think it was bad as much as it was severely disappointing. There were so many movies we were expecting to be great, like Jason Bourne and Suicide Squad, that just didn't become what we wanted them to be. You know. So that's our roundup of summer movies 2016. Hopefully, when we get to the end of the year, we'll have better fall and winter movies to talk about.
God, I hope so.
Because these
I don't
are
see how it could be
terrible.
worse.
I'm not talking about any of these again. Well, there are a few I'll talk about again at the end of the year when we talk about all the movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for joining us. That's the first Semi Pros podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I've been Zach.
This is Easton.
I'm glad you caught on. I'm glad you caught on that I was motioning to you that you have to sign off.
I was reading that.
If you guys liked it, we'll be back again next week. Like and subscribe and come back and watch again. If not, try not to insult me too much. If you you can if you want to. It's up to you.
I like insults. I'll take them. Bring it.
Send all your insults to Easton.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Deuces.